parents? Dr. Tony Ebo coming to you here with this video that out of all the ones we do, this will be the most foundational, important video for all of us parents to really know. And when you get it, it gives you so much forward movement to really help your child get through life with their health and with their happiness. See, here's the deal about life for our kiddos. I've been a pediatric and family chiropractor for 13 years. Just as long, I've been a father just 2 weeks longer than that. Our oldest baby girl, Addison, was born just before we started our practice, and I started my career there as a pediatric chiropractor. We have 4 kiddos, and we've served thousands upon thousands of kids in the practice and studied everything you could possibly imagine with the health of kids. And here's what I have to tell you, which I wish I didn't. The truth is, stress and toxins, whether it come from plastic in a water bottle or a fast food meal we end up having one time, stress and toxins are going to be there in our children's lives. Viruses, germs, pathogens are going to be there in our children's lives. Mean girls and bullies are going to be there in our kids' lives. Not nice teachers and not nice bosses and not nice friends are going to be there in our children's lives. Breakups are going to be there. Stress is going to be there in our children's lives. The number one most important thing in the health of our children and in the health of our family is not just how much stress or toxicity are they exposed to, but instead it's the other side of the coin. How adaptable and how resilient are they? And the question of today is, which direction is our child headed when it comes to building and growing in their adaptability and their resiliency? Now, this year, more so than ever before, they need that. We've already had an absolute overload of stress and toxicity in our children early and often. So there's 2 paths that our children can take. They can take what, unfortunately, and it's just not a good thing, but it is the main thing we need to address with healthcare across the board in pediatrics. Most children are headed down a perfect storm path. Now, the perfect storm path that will send your child in a direction of chronic sickness and emotional disturbances and focus and learning disabilities and sensory challenges. And the more of these things I'm about to lay out and the earlier they go through them, the farther down that path, that negative perfect storm path they get faster. Things like maternal stress. If we continue to have our pregnant moms just be stuck in this constant state of fear and anxiety instead of empowerment and education, their nervous system sets the table for that baby's nervous system when they get on the outside. If the moment they show up on the outside, it's stressful and it's intervention based and there's a lot of physical tension and medication intervention and hospital intervention around birth and labor, those 2 things, those are the heart of the perfect storm. Those 2 ingredients, those 2 triggers that show up into a child's nervous system, which is in control of their adaptability and resiliency to everything else in life after that. Most of our children, we find that over 80% of kids that come into our practice are born already and show up at the start of life already shifted and oftentimes stuck into a state of what's called fight or flight, sympathetic, protective response of their nervous system. Now, our protective response is part of the adaptability response, but it is the one that is supposed to be very, very, very short-lived. Children, all of us, are supposed to live in the opposite of that response. Our nervous system is supposed to be moving forward. It's supposed to be growing in its adaptability and its resiliency every single day. In fact, babies develop more neurons per second than we do per day, actually even per week. And there's a direction through which that nervous system will develop or it won't. The perfect storm direction is the direction of chronic stress and chronic illness. The immune system will be shut down, the digestive system will be weakened and stuck, and the neuro, emotional, behavioral, cognitive system will follow in line. If your child is colicky and frequently sick the first 1, 2, 3 years of life, especially if antibiotics and steroids and medications are added on to do the job of the body instead of having the body be resilient, that child gets stuck in the perfect storm fast. But that's not actually the basis of today's video. What I want to finish today's video with and get to as many parents as possible is if we choose a different direction and we tie to it as many adaptability, resilience, building and boosting moves and actions as we can take, then our child ends up on that path we all want, that ideal, optimal, adaptable path. And we can find this out in today's world. There's actually technology, and it's not in blood work. It's not on it has nothing to do with the height and the growth chart. The standard measurement of which direction a child is moving in the standard pediatrician's office, whether they are going to go down a path of sickness and stress or a path of health and happiness, the standard measurements we use, which is a few questionnaires, step on the scale, get your height, your weight, and your measure, and maybe a blood pressure. It is not found on a scale. It is not found on a blood test, because those are not the things that determine our direction of adaptability. Our nervous system and the health and well-being and functionality of our child's brain and neuromotor development system is everything to know what direction that child is on. So when their nervous system is relaxed, when their nervous system is calm, when their nervous system is coordinated, when their nervous system is connected and communicates and learns and perceives and grows through the environment, even if it is stressful, then they are on the path to a healthy and happy life. Finding out what direction your child is headed is the single most important thing you can do to know where they are now, but most importantly, what direction they are headed and where they will end up in the future. Because again, life will have stress into it. Life will have germs into it. Life will have mean girls and bullies into it. Can your child get right through it, over it, and past it or not has everything to do with the strength of their nervous system. That measurement, that's technology, the findings of that are not in traditional medicine. They are in pediatric chiropractic offices that focus on the nervous system and use a technology called the Insight neurological scanning technology. Things like heart rate variability, and really is the measurement, the gold standard of adaptability. Parents, you need an HRV exam. Babies, you're not watching this video. Maybe you are picking up what I'm putting down. You need an HRV exam, and we can do it with a little cute baby clip or ear clip. Find out what direction your child is headed. And in order to find that out, you may need to take a new direction with your family's healthcare, not leaving the others. We're not saying don't have medicine on your team and have an amazing pediatrician like Dr. Shenning at Next Generation here locally, or Jessica, an amazing holistic nurse practitioner at Well Rooted here locally. You have to have a medical emergency ready person on your team, but they're not in charge of adaptability. They're in charge of pathology. The more you seek those things out from a traditional approach with that, the more you tend to end up with that. So the new direction for parents in this generation is to add to their team. You need to add an adaptability building practitioner to your team by adding a pediatric, prenatal, and family practitioner to your team. If you are local, that is us. That is what we have dedicated everything we do to that. It is our greatest calling. We are entirely blessed to do it, wildly experienced at it. That is PWC Chiropractic. Send us a message and learn more. If you're not local, we train hundreds of other pediatric chiropractors to be adaptability boosters and builders in your community, your state, heck, probably even maybe your country. Just reach out to us with a message and say, hey, that video resonated with me. How exactly do I find out if my child is moving in the right direction or moving in that perfect storm direction? We'll walk you through that process. We'll connect with you one-on-one and do that. Share this, please, with as many parents as you possibly can, especially if you're seeing their child continue to get sick, to continue to struggle with school or emotions or social. Please send them this message so that then they can find a new path for their child's healthcare, to find a new path for their child's adaptability and nervous system and resiliency. This is what will change the future health of generations to come. We cannot avoid stress, germs, illness, anything. We will not ever be able to hide our way to good health. We need to go forward into it and build adaptability and resiliency. And we are here to help you and your family and your kiddos do just that. Reach out. We cannot wait to connect. See you soon.